Hello songwriter friends, let's talk about seventh chords. This is a really confusing topic and it's part of this month's challenge, so I thought I would try to provide my own perspective on how they work to clear up some of the confusion. A lot of the confusion comes from the way we name seventh chords, which is just a disaster. Calling it a major seventh, a minor seventh, a dominant seventh, a half diminished seventh, these names are really confusing because they don't really show you what's going on inside the chord. To name a seventh chord properly, we really should always use two qualifiers, okay? We've got these words, major, minor, diminished, augmented. We really should always use them twice. And that's what we're going to do today, is describe the two components of a seventh chord so you can understand how they're actually built. And then once we do that, then you can translate that into the nicknames we use so that those hopefully will make more sense. All right. Seventh chord is made of two components. One is the triad that it's built on, and the second is the position of the seventh note above that triad. Okay. When we use major, minor, diminished, augmented, we really should use them twice. There is an example, the seventh chord, a major, minor, seventh chord. Okay, that's an example of a chord that doesn't get used very often, so nobody came up with a nickname for it. But that's how we should name all the seventh chords, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so we're going to name the triad, and then we're going to name the position of the seventh within the scale. Okay, those are two different ways of naming something. The triad, we're going to call it major, minor, diminished, augmented based on the relationship among these three notes, specifically how large the thirds are among each of the notes. Okay, it's a relationship to each other. When we name the seventh, we're only going to name its position in the scale. Okay, say we're in C, so our root is C, we go up an octave, we come down a half step, that's a major seventh. Come down 2 half steps, that's a minor seventh. Come down 3 half steps, that's a diminished seventh. Okay, always. All right, this isn't related to the other notes in the triad at all. You're only talking about it with regard to its position in the scale. All right, so the first thing we need to do then is name the triad. How do triads work? Triads are 3 notes with either a minor or a major third between them. Minor third, major third. What are a minor and major thirds? Just real quick. Okay, a minor third is 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3. A major third is 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. A major third sounds like this. Dee dee, kumbaya. A minor third sounds like this. Dee 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 dee. Or whose bright stripes and bright stars. Okay, that's how major and minor thirds sound. To build a triad, you get 3 notes, and you either do major thirds between them, minor thirds between them, or a mixture. Major and minor third, minor and major third. All right. Let's start with the smallest one. If you do 2 minor thirds, okay, you're going to go 3 half steps up, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 more half steps from that note, right? A minor third from here, 1, 2, 3. You got 2 minor thirds. That's a diminished triad. Let's make the biggest one, 2 major thirds, all right? We're going to go up 4 half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 more half steps from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got major thirds between these each notes, and now you got an augmented triad. Okay, that's the biggest one. Let's do a major and a minor, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. That gives you a major triad. Okay. Let's do a minor and a major. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives you a minor triad. Okay. So those are your 4 options. 3 notes with different sized thirds among them. All right. So that's how we're going to name the triad. So the first thing we do is name the triad, and then we name the position of the seventh in the scale. And that's how you name sevens. That's how you should name sevens. Sorry, that's how we're going to do it today. And then you can take from that and move to the nicknames. Let's build all of the seventh chords, right? There's only 12 of them. It doesn't take that much time. Let's start with the smallest one, the diminished, okay? 2 minor thirds, minor third, minor third. All right, so we got a diminished triad, and then we need to name the position of the seventh. So let's start with the biggest one, a major seventh, right? Only a half step down from here. So this would be a diminished major seventh. Sounds pretty cool. All right, if we're going to do a minor seventh, which is 2 half steps down, that would be a diminished minor seventh. Now we have a special nickname for that. I'll tell you in just a second. What if we come down to a diminished? Major seventh, minor seventh, diminished seventh. Now we have diminished seventh, okay? Do we call it a diminished seventh? No, because that sounds kind of silly. We just call it a fully diminished seventh. Now, the trick here is that this chord, a diminished minor seventh, we have a special name for that. We call it a half diminished seventh. Why? Why don't we just call it a diminished minor seventh? Then everybody would know what you're talking about. But no, we have to call it a half diminished seventh. So, okay, that's one of the nicknames. So we did diminished. Let's scooch out a little bit and do a minor triad, okay? So our triad's minor, and then we could add sevens on top. We have a minor, major 7, okay? That's a funky movie chord. It doesn't get used very often, so no one came up with a nickname, so we just call it what we should call it, which is a minor, major 7. Great. Let's try a minor triad with a minor 7, right? Major, minor. Okay, that sounds really pretty. That's a minor minor seventh. Do we want to say minor minor? No, so we just say minor seventh. We reduce it. It's easier to say that way, right? Okay, and let's do a diminished seventh. Well, this is where it gets tricky because a minor diminished seventh, the problem is this is also the sixth note of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? In the major scale anyway, so you would call this a minor sixth chord. It gets confusing, don't worry about it. We'll just stick in the world of sevenths for now. So we did our minor triad, let's do a major triad now, okay? So we got a major seventh, okay? Because it's only a half step down from the top. Major seventh. Are we gonna call it a major seventh? No, that does sound kind of silly. We'll just call it a major seventh. Okay, let's do a major minor seventh, okay? We could call it a major minor seventh, which is what we should call it, but instead we call it a dominant seventh. And the reason for that is it plays such a functional role in pulling down to the one that we just gave it a nickname. But what it is a major minor seventh. Okay, the next one would be a major diminished seventh. But in particular, we tend to call this a major sixth chord because this overlaps with the sixth note of the scale. Okay, whatever. All right, the last one will be an augmented triad. And let's try out the sevenths on top of that. Augmented major seven. That sounds really cool. I've never heard anyone talk about an augmented major seventh, but now you can build one because you understand how they're built. Let's try an augmented minor seventh. Crunchy, you know, you can use that in your songwriting too. And then you can technically have an augmented diminished seventh. Also pretty crunchy. Okay, so that's all of them, and that's how you build them. Talk about the triad, talk about the position of the seventh. You can make up seventh chords nobody would actually use, but now you can call them what they are, and now you can also refer to some of the nicknames and understand why those nicknames are the way they are. So I hope that lends some clarity. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you later. Bye.